Welcome to another lesson in personal finance. We are about to get started with a new lesson in personal finance. We're going to cover a couple of key topics today. We had a snow day. Snow day, that's so crazy. We had a snow day last week, so we didn't have class. So maybe you're feeling like it's time to catch up. Uh, at any rate, we are going live now on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and X. So I am going to give students a few minutes to log into the Zoom room. I'm finding that fewer and fewer students are actually showing up for the Zoom, which is fine. This is an asynchronous course, which means you can watch it on demand, online and on demand. That's why we're live streaming to my YouTube channel. And that's where we keep this playlist. In fact, let me see if I can show you the playlist that you will want to see. There you go. So if you just go to uhplaylist.com, that's a redirect every semester that goes directly over to the playlist for the current cohort, the current semester. This semester is spring of 2025. So here's what we're going to talk about. Here's what I'm most excited about talking about. Your future starts now. This is week number 3 in personal finance, and I'm excited to be kind of underway with the course. We did have that snow day, that snow week, which was quite disruptive. Hopefully, you're not feeling behind. I've been trying not to give anybody late points last week. But moving forward, you need to understand that your assignments are due every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time. 10 a.m., I know that's different. Most of your courses assignments are due at midnight. That's just a default in Canvas. There's no other reason why most of your assignments are due at midnight. So that's one of the things you'll want to make a mental note of. In personal finance, we have this Zoom lecture, this Zoom meeting, which is required every week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. You don't have to be here. Again, it's an asynchronous course, but you do need to watch the lecture, and you'll find out why as you watch the lecture. It is saved at the playlist at uhplaylist.com. So today what I want to do is introduce you really to the fundamental ideas in the course and what we're going to do together over the course of this semester to help you achieve the outcomes or the educational objectives that I feel like are worthwhile, and I hope you will too. So if you jump into Money Study Group this week, you'll see when you go to week number 3, there's a new post, and it's basically this post: Your future starts now. And you'll see in that post, I've created some content there to just highlight the there's a dozen or so outcomes. You could call these educational objectives, but we're calling them outcomes. And the that's what we're highlighting in this post and in this video, in this lecture. So I am going to cover, at least talk about, some of the outcomes that I hope will be part of your experience this semester in personal finance. And I think if you can read them, you can listen to me talk about them a little bit. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, if I were you, I would watch these lectures and I would hit the little gear icon and I would play double speed. You can listen a lot faster than I can talk. And so that's one way you can save a little time. But do listen, and if you're listening at double speed, usually your brain is working a little bit, not harder, but it's a little more focused because of the speed. And sometimes you can actually retain more. I just made that up, but I think it's true in my experience. I can retain more when I'm listening at double speed because my brain is just a little bit more focused for some reason. I get bored really easily, and when I'm listening to someone speak very slowly, my mind will wander. But if they're speaking relatively quickly, it's just more interesting. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Listen at double speed. If you're watching this at 2 in the morning, save yourself some time. But do listen, because I'm going to talk about this week's class collaboration. And I'm also going to cover in this lecture, in this Zoom meeting, I'm going to cover this week's actual assignment, which is to get your free credit report. So you'll see that on the screen now, and you will see I will post a special video in your playlist related to getting your free credit report. So we'll talk about that, because this is the assignment for the week. Now, part of the assignment in this week's assignment is, as always, for you to engage in some class discussions. We call it class collaboration. And so when I jump back over here to outcomes, you'll notice, or I will just announce right now at 10:06 a.m., that we will be this week's secret class collaboration is going to be to just engage in a conversation about these outcomes. You've already shared a little bit about your goals, and that's great. So at the beginning of the semester, I ask you to share, what are your goals for this course? What are your goals for your financial life? And that's something that I always look forward to reading your answers to those questions. But I would encourage you this week to look at the outcomes. These are basically the educational objectives for the course, and I'm going to cover them a little bit today and try to put them into context for the work that we're going to do this semester, specifically the way that we're going to create a financial plan for you throughout the semester. So you set up last week, your assignment was to do a basic budget, to jump into RightCapital, the premium financial planning portal that you have access to this semester. Your assignment last week during the snow was to go ahead and set up that portal. And the assignments that I've looked at so far, you guys have done an outstanding job. I didn't see one one or two assignments didn't show screenshots of setting up the portal, but everyone else, huge success. So that's looking good, but that's just a start. Now that you've set that up, you've set up an account with Bayrock, basically, where you will now have access. Bayrock is my company, an investment management firm, and I use this premium financial planning portal, this tool, this piece of technology called RightCapital. And it's like what I dreamed of when I built my business, to be able to provide kind of an easy, slick, smooth, great user interface platform to help my clients create a holistic, comprehensive financial plan. And that's what RightCapital does. And you have access to that, not just during the semester, but for some time after. I won't delete you unless you're not using the platform, but at some point, I'll delete you for just not being active. But you'll be able to have access to that for a long time. So the reason that's important is because this semester, we don't have to start yet. I think it's next week or the week after that we will actually require you to go into your profile on RightCapital and change your birthday. So that's what Your Future Starts Now, this post, most of this lecture is related to that, because I want to make sure you understand how we're going to approach building a financial plan. So I'm going to cover that today. But I think before I do that, I want to just check off the list, the assignment for your credit report. So again, this week's secret class collaboration has to do with this post. It's called Your Future Starts Now. And if you go into Money Study Group, you'll notice that I posted a new component in the community sector. It's called a space in Thinkific, and I called it Outcomes. So I would like for you this week to engage in that community space called Outcomes. And I added a post there, but that's a place where you can jump in, leave your comments, engage with other students, and basically have some conversations about the outcomes in this course that you want to own for yourself. So all of these outcomes are basically outcomes that I designed in creating the course. And you'll see as we go through them, they're pretty straightforward. They're connected in each of the assignments you'll have this semester. These outcomes are integrated, connected, aligned with the lessons and the homework assignments. So that's hopefully obvious as you go through the semester, as you go through the coursework. But today, this week, I'll be looking for your participation, excuse me, in the outcome space in Money Study Group, where you will be able to engage in a conversation in the outcomes. And there's a post there that I just posted this morning, but that's going to be like the first thing I look at when I grade your assignments. I want to know that you are watching the weekly Zoom meetings, and that's the only way I know to be sure, is to give you some instruction that's kind of not exactly the assignment that's posted in Canvas, but it is the assignment that is part of the lecture. So do that. I'll talk about those outcomes again in a minute, but first let's do the credit report. So this week, your assignment in Canvas is to actually go and obtain a free credit report, and the instructions in Canvas are very straightforward. This assignment, by the way, it's worth 50 points, and as always, if you turn it in early, you will get an extra 10 points, which is a 20% bump. So do that by Friday at 3 p.m. as always. Gives me a chance to give you feedback. If you make mistakes, it gives you the opportunity to have that feedback so that you can make the adjustments, make the corrections, and then resubmit your assignment by the due date, which is always Tuesday at 10 a.m. So for example, let's say you turn your assignment in on Thursday. I grade it on Friday, give you some comments and deductions and say, you missed this, I was really looking for that, please resubmit. So then let's say you don't get around to it until Monday, or maybe early in the morning on Tuesday, you see my comments and you have an opportunity to go in, make corrections, resubmit your assignment. And as long as it's resubmitted by Tuesday at 10 a.m., you will still get the extra points, even though you got some deductions and some feedback. So that's one of the really big reasons why I want you to take advantage of the early assignments. If you turn your assignment in Tuesday at 10 a.m. and you have mistakes, I'm going to give you the deductions and we're going to move on to the next week. Now, one little note about early assignments and resubmissions. Please remember, you know that little text box when you submit your assignment? If you will, please just put a note in there. If you're resubmitting, just tell me that. Say I'm resubmitting. Some of you are actually putting that in the assignment, the document that you create in Word, your weekly assignment article. Some of you are, when you resubmit, you're putting that at the top of the article. And you know what? That works too. That's new. Nobody's ever done that until this semester, and several of you have been doing that. And that's cool too. But just use, be sure to make me know that you're resubmitting. Otherwise, you're going to get the 50 points. You're not going to get the extra points just because it's just too difficult for me to. Sometimes I can see it and I try to see it, but I most of the time miss it if you don't give me those comments. Thank you for that. I appreciate your help. So this week's assignment worth 50 points. For most of you, this assignment is going to take like 10 minutes. It's going to be a super easy assignment. You're going to grab a free credit report. Now, there will be a video in the playlist. It's not there at the moment, but it will be by the time I finish this lecture in about 30 minutes. So it is 10:15 a.m. on Tuesday, January 28, year of our Lord 2025. So it'll be there soon. So you'll see this post is also available in Money Study Group, where it just highlights all of the things that are built into your FICO score. And it's really the goal for this week is for you to understand how credit works. And the credit report is a tool that tells you what's in your credit history and your credit. It's like your online resume, your financial resume for the world to see. And that's what happens. Your credit report is out there and it is accessible by financial institutions. So I want you to know what's on your credit report. Okay. That's the goal for you to get your free credit report. You can do that 3 times a year. There are 3 different credit bureaus that will give you a free credit report. So you can do it 3 times a year for free. And I want you to do it 1 time for me. 3 times a year for free, 1 time for me. Hey, that rhymes. Awesome. So credit report is different than a credit score. And there will be a quiz for this week's assignment. And I do believe that is a question on the quiz. It's a lot of students think that I'm asking you to give me your credit score, and I'm not asking for your credit score. I don't want your credit score, and frankly, I don't even want your credit report. Now, it's easy to just upload your credit report, and that's fine. If you want to upload your credit report, you'll get a PDF file from the bureau that you request your free credit report, and it will have tons of information. Some of it's private, most of it's just accounts and payment history, and you will learn what's in that credit report. What we're really looking for, the real main purpose of this assignment, is for you just to know how to get a credit report and for you to be able to see if there are any surprises on your credit report. Because that's like the number one benefit, reason that you should do a credit report on a regular basis for yourself, is just to see what is on your credit report. If you haven't done that in a while and you happen to be watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or X, I would encourage you to do that, to get your free credit report. And somewhere in here we have a link. It's a free annual. I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy. This is a post that, dadgummit, I'm not finding the link. I know it's in Money Study Group, so I will post a link in this video. If you're watching this video on YouTube, in the playlist, I will make sure that I post the link to get your free credit report. I thought it was in here, but I don't see it. So anyway, you're going to do that. And when you read this, you're going to understand, before you take your quiz, what's involved in a credit report. I'm not going to go over that today. I just wanted to highlight what you're going to learn and what you're going to do for this week's assignment, and that is to get a free credit report and to review it. You're going to review it to see if there are any mistakes. Big mistake that happens on a regular basis in a credit report is you find that you have some credit, some credit account with an institution, and you never signed up for that. So that happens every semester. Students discover that they have an account that they did not know they had. A lot of times that account is established by a parent who's trying to help you establish credit. So they set up an account and you don't know about it. So that's one surprise that you may discover. Another surprise that you may discover is that you have a bill, a credit account that hasn't been paid, it's past due, and there's a problem and it's on your credit report and you didn't even know. because you forgot. So that's another thing you'll be looking for. Just be looking through your credit report to see if there's anything on your credit report. Now, let me tell you this. Many of you, and there should be an alternative assignment. It may not be in this post that I'm looking at right here, but I'm going to scroll down. So, oh, there you go. There's the link to it. That is a link. So if I click on that, it will take us to annual credit report, request your free credit report. So you see that is annualcreditreport.com. So that's where you go to get a free credit report. And this is where you're going to go to do the assignment. So where was I? The credit, you're going to get the credit report. It's going to come to you as a PDF. But here's the thing. When you go to request your free credit report, see what happens when I tap on that. Fill out a form. So I'm going to hit fill out the form, see what they ask me for. My first, middle, and last name, birth date, and this is the key thing. And this is what I get this question every semester. Obviously, it's a good question. What if I don't have a Social Security number? Well, if you don't have a Social Security number, don't bother trying to get a free credit report, because you'll just get an error that says there's no report. You need a Social Security number to get a report. So what if, say, you're an international student and you don't have a Social Security number? Well, then there is a alternative assignment. Whoops. There's an alternative assignment for you. Before I cover the second part of the first assignment, let me see if I can find the alternative. There is an alternative assignment, assignment B, and this is for students who don't have a Social Security number. And this is really what's posted in Canvas anyway. But if you have no Social Security number, you can't get a free credit report. So you're going to watch this video on how to invest, and there's a link to the video here. It's a great video by Bill Ackman, I believe, is the video that we've used, and it's a great video that goes into some pretty good detail about investing and helps you understand investing, and it's a great resource. So even if you do have a free credit, you can get a credit report, you have a Social Security number, and you can get a credit report. You still may, I would encourage you to watch this video. You don't have to do the summary unless you want to, but it's a great video. So that's for students who don't have a Social Security number. So please don't send me an email and say, I don't have a Social Security number, I can't get a free credit report. Because if you send me that email, it's like saying, Professor Munchbeck, I didn't bother to watch the Zoom meeting, and I want to call you or text you or email you to help me do my homework. And I'm doing that now. So please, if you're one of those 3 students who every semester sends me an email or a text, I promise you'll go on my list. The list that says, I've got 3 students who just don't listen. They don't pay attention. I'm going to pay attention to those students because now they're on my list. Don't get on my list. So just FYI, that's not an email you want to send to me. It's a very clear instruction. If you don't have a Social Security number, you can't do a free credit report. Second part of, and this is again, if you have creditors, this is important. You're going to create a list of your creditors. And the reason I want you to do this, it's really not for me. It's for you. Because what I've found over the last 12, 13 years of teaching this course is, even though you're a student, even though you're starting out in your financial life, many of you already have a number of accounts, credit card accounts, credit accounts of some kind, student loans, and other things. But just by knowing what you owe, who you owe it to, when those loans are due, and how much you're going to be paying each month whenever they come due, that's all very important information. And I want to invite you to put that into your financial plan But this week's assignment requires you to just put that into kind of a note or a spreadsheet, however you want to capture it. But don't forget to check out that part of the assignment, because you will receive a 20-point deduction if you don't do that part. Now, again, if you don't have a social security number, whole different assignment. It's watch the video and write up a summary, and that's what you want to do. In addition to those two things, if you have a social security number and you get a free credit report, you've got to review it and tell me what you see, what you found. So really, three parts of the assignment is to get the free credit report, to review it, and then to tell me what you think, what you saw, and all of that. So that's really two things. Get it, review it, tell me about it. I guess that's three things. And number four is this creditor list. So hopefully that's clear. I think it is. Normally this assignment, again, is super easy, and it just takes a few minutes. So I'm going to let that go. You guys have already jumped into, I'm going to check something here. Okay, good. I just clicked on that link because, well, it's a long story, but I wanted to see if that was the right link, and it looks like it is. When you're in Money Study Group, by the way, you will have a special link directly to the portal to set up your RightCapital account. And most of you, not 100%, probably 98% of you have already done that. You'll want to keep that link because that's how you will log back into your plan. So, but that link is only available inside of Money Study Group, because if I put that on the interweb, then I get all kinds of fake accounts, like hundreds a day. So please don't post that link on the internet. I appreciate it if you don't do that. Somehow it gets out there. So it's inside of Money Study Group, so that's where you'll grab it. Thank you for that. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore about the free credit report. I think I've lost that link. So I'm going to close this. Now I'm just going to talk about outcomes. And these are the outcomes that I want to focus on as we move through this semester. So I'm going to spend 15, 20 minutes going through these with you, but I really want you to think about them. Now, one of the things I did, which I don't always do, but I did create this PowerPoint slide, and I got one of the assignments that I graded last week. A student had created a picture, an AI generated picture of Dave Ramsey. I think it was Dave Ramsey. It kind of looked like a picture that was something between a younger Dave Ramsey and a younger me. We both have goatees and bald heads, and we're not exactly pretty, but he's prettier than I am. But at any rate, it was a great picture, but it wasn't Dave Ramsey, but it looked like could have been his cousin maybe, but it was a great picture. And I just realized you guys are doing the same thing I'm doing. You're experimenting with AI, which I think is cool. Obviously, in this course, there are some things you just can't use AI for. You can use AI for a lot of stuff. And I know when you do, because I have a tool that tells me. But anyway, I'm using some AI on you right now. This is a tool called Gamma, I believe is what I did. But I took my notes and I put it into this tool, and then it created, let me see if I can go back. Yeah, it created a PowerPoint. So I'm pretty impressed. And I'm showing it to you on my iPad right now. So let me change something here. I want to, give me a second. I've got a really cool setup here in my studio, but somehow it's not, for some reason, not working perfectly. So I am going to close that out. I'm clicking. I could show you what I'm clicking on, but I'm not going to. Uh-oh, Troy, looks like Troy's trying to get in. Hey, Troy. Okay, sorry, back to work. So I'll just keep that UH Live going. Let me see. Oh, there we go. I wanted to change that to LinkedIn. Hey, Troy, welcome. I see you. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm assuming you found the link okay. We didn't have a whole lot of students join us in the Zoom room, so most folks are watching the live or will watch it later. Can you leave a comment in the chat if you will, Troy? Just let me know you can hear me. And welcome aboard. Okay, back to the outcomes. And again, these are the outcomes I've made for the course. Hello, Troy. You can hear me, I guess, right? You can see me, you can hear me. I know you're not sharing your camera, which is fine, but text me, chat me. Yes, thank you very much. Hey, were you able to find the Zoom link without any trouble? Hopefully you were. I'm waiting for you to say, yes, I found it. It was in the syllabus or it was in Canvas. Yes, it was the front. Good. Yeah, sometimes I don't know what happens, but Zoom has some really sophisticated security, and sometimes the way that I share the Zoom link gets somehow changed. So glad to have you. Thank you. So back to my little AI experiment this morning. I've got all these tools that are, AI tools that I'm experimenting with for my business and my productivity. I'm into that kind of thing. I don't play golf, but I love my MacBook computer and the things that I can do with it. And so now with AI, it's like it's kind of like going to the tool store if you're a tool guy or you're a Home Depot guy, whatever. That's not me, but I do love to play with these toys. So I did this with Gamma, just took my notes, pasted it in, and it created these AI generated images, but I'll share it with you. It's going to give me something to talk about. And this whole lesson, not this lesson, but this post, again, I posted outcomes in your community space in Money Study Group. So you will want to go to that space, to the community, and click on outcomes where you'll see a post. It's also in this week's module for week number 3, just your financial future starts now. And what I wanted to do was just be very clear with you about what are the educational objectives that I want us to focus on moving forward throughout the semester. And whether you get to know them or not, I'm telling you that I've designed this entire course with these outcomes in mind. So if you just pay attention and you show up and you do the homework, you will be achieving these outcomes. If you earn an A in the course, my hope and my expectation and my commitment to you is that these outcomes will be your experience in this course. So first thing I want you to know is that we've designed the course in a certain way with a certain scope and sequence so that these outcomes become very achievable for you. And I wanted to make sure you understood that. You've already played around with the 3 laws of personal finance, but they really are foundational to the course. So the first law of personal finance is the law of spending and saving. It's save more than you earn, or spend less than you earn, so that you can save more for what matters most. That's the first law of personal finance. And if you happen to read my story about my friend Sam from Ireland, who is no longer with us, and how he helped me see that really that is like the keystone to financial success. And it's really the foundational thing that I want you to take away from this course, is that you have to spend less than you earn so you can save more for what matters most in your life. So it's a key concept and a core principle to the course. Number 2 is the law of tax-advantaged investing. I think I told you I was born on April 15th. My first son was born on December 31st, so I got a tax deduction for the whole year. My second son was born on October 15th, which is the tax due date for corporations. So somehow tax-advantaged investing is in my life. And you'll learn about that not this week, but this semester. It's a big part of what you'll learn. And the third law of personal finance is, I think, the most important one. It's the law of purpose and commitment. I don't have a clue what your purpose in life is. I was listening to President Trump say this week, he said, he almost got assassinated, right? His ear got shot. And he said that he believed that God saved him so that he could make America great again. And I don't know what you think about President Trump. I don't really care what you think about President Trump, honestly. But I thought that was a pretty interesting statement, to think that he has and if you watch the dude operate, like, he's on a freaking mission, okay? And that's what I want for you. I want you to be on a freaking mission for your life, for what matters most to you. But the truth is, most people don't have a clue. They have no clear purpose. Therefore, they have no plan. They just live each day and take what happens to them, and that's how they live their life. And I don't want that to be your life. So that's why this third law of personal finance is so important. In my opinion, it's the most important law of personal finance, the law of purpose and commitment. So I'm hoping that this semester, starting now, you will commit to learn the things that I'm going to teach you, with the big idea being, I can teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. And it won't even be difficult if you do the little things that I'm going to teach you. These are called disciplines. Disciplines are a definition I got from a man that I've admired all my life. He's no longer with us. Dallas Willard taught me that discipline, the definition of discipline, is this. It's the small things that you can do, these little things that you can do, so that you build the muscle that you will need to do the really big things that you could never do if you didn't do the little things that you could do to develop the muscles that you need to do the big things. So imagine that if there's some little things you can do in your life that will help you establish the foundation, the muscle, the skills, the ability, so that you can conquer the big thing. That's what we're talking about. And you may not think becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50, you may think that's huge. It's not. You may think it's not that big. It's actually nothing like what you want. You want to be a billionaire by the time you're 50. I know I have lots of students tell me that, and that's fine, but that's not what this course is about, because I have never been a billionaire. I don't know how you do that. I do know how you do that, but it's not, I can't teach you how to do that. What I can teach you, and what I have done, and what I know is doable for students who are in a business college, who graduate with a business degree and get a job in some kind of business, it's not difficult for you to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. Hopefully by now you know what the definition of a millionaire is. Your net worth is $1 million. That's less your expenses, or less your debt, rather. It's your net worth of $1 million by the time you're 50. So it's not rocket science. So those are the 3 laws of personal finance. I want you to have the confidence as you finish this course. You really will have the confidence to know that you can achieve whatever you decide you want to achieve in your life. For one thing, money won't be what holds you back, because you will establish some habits, some disciplines, some basic activities in your life that will produce really superior outcomes. So you'll be able to do that. You'll learn that. You will do some budgeting. It is kind of important. It's about, that was last week's assignment, but still, I just want to remind you that budgeting means basically you're telling your money that it has a purpose, and you're managing your money with a purpose, and every dollar gets like an assignment, okay? Now, I promise you, You can look around your life and you can see that most people don't do that. Most people spend on stuff that they want without even thinking about the things they need or what they really want in life. This is what do I want right now? So anyway, that's part of budgeting. It is a little discipline that you can do. You can track your spending so that you can look back in a month or 2 months or at the end of this semester and you can see where you spent your money. That's tracking. That's not budgeting. That's just tracking, being accountable and knowing how to look at where your money was spent. And you're going to do that this semester. Debt management, that's a really important one. And you're going to do that. I'm going to teach you how to, excuse me. So this week you're going to do your credit report, but coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to do what's called the Credit Crush assignment. And it's a great way for you to understand how credit works. And so that's an important takeaway. Let's see, I'm tapped. There we go. Tapped, it worked. You will learn about the perfect investment this semester. It's your 401k. And I try to introduce the perfect investment multiple times throughout the semester because one of my outcomes, one of my hopes for you from the very beginning of teaching this course is that when you start your job, your dream job after you graduate, that you will have absolute confidence in what you need to do on day one to take advantage of the perfect investment, which is a 401k. If you work for a corporation, if you work for a nonprofit, it's a 403b typically. If you work for the government, it's a 457, I believe. But the point is, there's this thing that is like a perfect investment where your employer gives you matches what you contribute to your account. And we're going to talk about that multiple times. But my goal, the outcome, is that day one, you don't even have to think about it. You know what you're going to do to take advantage of the perfect investment. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. You're going to learn enough about investing to be able to distinguish between different types of accounts for tax-advantaged investing. You're going to learn how to distinguish between different types of investments like a mutual fund, an exchange traded fund, an individual stock, an individual bond, a bond ETF. That's an exchange traded fund. They come in all sorts of flavors. A mutual fund, I may have already mentioned that, an index fund, which is like a mutual fund, but it doesn't have a manager. Mutual funds have managers and you pay extra fees for that. So we'll talk about those, and you will learn about asset classes because asset classes like large cap, small cap, international, bond is an asset class. You'll learn, and I'm hoping you will take the initiative to learn more about asset classes because the asset classes become a critical part of understanding the 4 investment strategies that I'm going to teach you that will help you maximize returns and minimize risk. I'll tell you what those 4 investment strategies are real quick. Number 1 is diversification. If you've never heard the story of Enron, just go check that out. That's what we'll talk about when we get to the most popular part of the semester. It's about investing, and I'll teach you the 4 investment strategies that are designed to help you maximize returns and minimize risk. Diversification is the super simple one, and it helps you minimize risk. And if you don't know about Enron, you should know about Enron. So that's number 1. Number 2 is asset allocation, which is the single most important investment strategy because asset allocation is the single most important determinant of your portfolio's return. So you need to understand asset allocation. It's the second investment strategy I'm going to teach you, designed to help you maximize returns and minimize risk. Asset allocation is it's key, but you can't understand asset allocation if you're clueless about asset classes, like the difference between a little bitty company stock and a huge U.S. large cap stock like Coca-Cola or McDonald's versus your uncle's new startup where he's going to make, you know, self-drying dish pans or whatever. The smaller the company, the more risk, but also the more opportunity because you can get in early and you can make a lot of money on these small companies, but they're hugely risky. So you want to have good asset allocation. I'm going to teach you how to do that. But first, I need to teach you about asset allocation. It's the building blocks of asset allocation. Number 3 is the most powerful investment strategy for most of you, for young folks who are starting out as investors. The most powerful investment strategy that will help you maximize returns and minimize risk is dollar cost averaging. I'm going to tell you a story about a guy named Farmer Joe and how I helped him use dollar cost averaging to build wealth. And over time, like I said, dollar cost averaging is the most powerful investment strategy to help you maximize returns and minimize risk. The 4th investment strategy that I'm going to teach you this semester is it's portfolio rebalancing. And it's pretty simple. It is what it sounds like. I'll tell you more about it when we get there. But the bottom line is, as we get into the outcomes, again, one of my outcomes is that by the time you start day 1 in your job, you will be absolutely confident and absolutely certain about what you're going to do with your 401k, which is the perfect investment for most people, because you basically get 100% return of the amount the company is going to match. But you need to know how to set that 401k up. When you start, you sit with HR for a little bit and they ask you some questions, and most new young people don't really exactly know how to answer those questions. My outcome, my hope is that by the time you finish this course, you'll be like rock solid and you'll know what to do with that 401k. So that's the investment areas. Told you already, leveraging tax advantaged investing. Part of that is simply the 401k, but there's more to it. I should have brought some water. I'm getting toasty on the throat. So tax advantaged investing is all about types of accounts. Already talked about the 401k. You're going to learn about that and why that type of account is so helpful in terms of building wealth, especially when you apply the 4 investment strategies that I'm going to teach you inside of that 401k. Because a 401k is simply a type of account. It's not a type of investment. It's not an investment vehicle. It's an account that has certain tax treatment. That's what a 401k is. That's what tax advantaged investing is all about, is the type of account. So you're going to learn different types of accounts like the 401k, the Roth IRA, the individual IRA, or the tax deductible IRA. You're going to learn about types of accounts that you can use, that you can leverage, so that your tax advantaged investing is helping you build wealth because you're paying less taxes, and instead you're using those extra dollars to build wealth for your future. So that's a big part of this semester and the outcomes. Do you love that? Look, this is just really cool to me because visualize financial independence. It's like pretty simple stuff, nothing rocket science here, but the fact that I spent like 10 seconds creating this presentation, Gamma, that's what I used, and it creates these visuals. I could have spent hours doing that because I'm not really very good at it, but I kind of enjoy creating stuff. So, give me kudos in the comments. Say, hey, that was kind of cool. If you want to know how to do it, I'll be happy to do a video on how to use Gamma and Napkin and Google LLM Notebook and all these other tools. Even DeepSeek, like that's brand new as of yesterday. The market crashed because of this new Chinese AI tool I tried to sign up yesterday and it wasn't a very smooth experience. So I'm kind of hoping it's not very successful, but we'll see. Some of these tools, most of them are a big waste of time, right? But some of them are very cool. And this one, Gamma, I like it. Oh, that's the end of the slideshow. Okay, so I'm going to close that out and I'm going to jump back over here. And I think it's time to wrap up. So I don't see any questions here in the chat. Please show us in the future. Yes, I will do that. Thank you for that comment, Troy. I will. It is cool, though, I think. I keep looking at the wrong camera. So if you think I'm cross-eyed, I have two cameras up there. I could show you my cameras, but I'm kind of, let me see if I can show you my cameras just because it's kind of fun to show you my cameras. I have a problem. I'll show you my problem if I can find the right, there we go. I think this is going to be the right, yeah. So now I'm showing you my studio and you can see I have these really cool buttons, stream decks, but the stream decks are not working today. I have no idea why. So I am having trouble. So now I'm going back. I just clicked back up, different scene anyway. I'm playing now. We're out of time. We're really not out of time, but I've said everything I want to say. I want to remind you though, early assignments get extra points, and it lets me know that you want to be an A student. When I first started teaching this course, one thing I learned is that A students, they operate differently than students who are not A students. It took me about, I don't know, half the semester to really understand. I was trying really hard to help the students who were like me. When I went to college, I was like a solid C student, right? Like I didn't do anything early. I barely did things on time, and most everything I did was last minute or late. And that's what I discovered is that I've got a group of students, about 25%, that are last minute or late. But about half the students are awesome, on time, and early. And I decided early on as an adjunct professor at the University of Houston in the Bauer College of Business that I was going to try to do, instead of trying to bring up the lowest end of the students, which is really what my passion was, to help the students who were like me, who were dotards, who just needed extra help. But then I realized that's a wrong way to look at it, because the students who are willing to do the work, the students who are willing to work hard to earn an A, those are the students that deserve kind of the benefits. And so that's why I do the early assignments. I want it to be fair, and I want every one of you to take advantage of it. And if you're an A student, I want this course to exceed your expectations. And I want the early assignments to be a way for you to get to the end of the semester and not even have to think about this course, because you've already earned your A. If you do the early assignments, you're going to get extra points. You're going to earn 950 points, which is what it takes to get an A in this course. You're going to have that 2-3 weeks before the semester ends. And then you're going to get to take that extra time that you earned by doing those early assignments, and you're going to get to spend that extra time working on those other courses that are more challenging, that have final exams, that require much more concentration and focus and energy. This is not that kind of course. This is a life skills course. I want you to take what you learn in this course and use it for the rest of your life. What I don't want to do is make this a difficult course, because personal finance is kind of like Olympic diving. This is a Warren Buffett quote. I'll end with it. Personal finance, he says investing, but I'm saying personal finance and investing is not like Olympic diving. You don't get extra points for difficulty. I want to make it simple. I want to make your financial life simple. I can't do that without your help. The early assignments, just one way that I'm proving to you that I'm committed to make the best experience for you in personal finance. And if you just follow that lead, I think you'll have a much better experience. If you want to wait till the last minute, turn your assignment in the last minute, you have every right to do that. Just ain't going to earn you any extra points, and I'm not going to give you any extra assignments to earn extra points, even though you will ask me at the end of the semester because you will be short. But my A students, and you know who you are, enough said. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. I want to help all of you. But when you do those early assignments, you show me that you want to help yourself, and I appreciate that. Have a great day. I'm going to close her down. I'll look for your comments. I'll be looking into, by the way, GroupMe is a great place for you to get your questions answered. If you're the student who's answering those questions, be sure to grab a screenshot when you've answered questions in GroupMe and put that in your assignment. I'll give you extra points, or at least you'll go on that other list where I go, hey, that student is a real asset to the cohort, and I'll remember you and I'll appreciate you. So it's just like extra for you to do that, to take that screenshot, to answer questions in GroupMe. I appreciate that. But this week, in this week's class collaboration, I want you to engage in the outcomes space in Money Study Group, where I've made a post. I want you to just talk about what outcomes do you care about. So that's this week's secret class collaboration. Do that, take a screenshot, pop that into your assignment along with the other conversations and discussions that were meaningful for you this week. So that's it. Thanks. And by the way, I'll be jumping into Money Study Group in that community page to maybe engage in those comments. I won't do that in GroupMe. I'm staying out of GroupMe. That's your space. But in the community section, I'm going to be part of those conversations. Just so you know that. So don't be intimidated if you see me responding to your comments or engaging, please. That's what those are for. And you can all do that. We can all do that together. That's what the community space, it's really what it's about. So thank you. See you later. Have a great week. Stay warm. Much better weather than we had last week. Take care. I'm going to end the Zoom meeting now. Take care, everybody in the Zoom meeting. Boom. And now I'm going to end the somewhere, if I can find the finish button, I'm going to end this. If you've been watching on LinkedIn, hopefully we've connected already, but if we haven't, feel free to connect. I love to connect with new people, especially folks who are somehow in the education arena or financial planning, investment management, maybe you're a private market specialist. I love to connect with folks in LinkedIn. It's my favorite social network is LinkedIn. If you're on X, Facebook, I might eventually accept that connection, but I just don't go on there that often. So don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, and you'll get notified. If you want to get notified, click the little bell. You'll get notified when we post new videos. Take care. See you next week. Have a great day.